What's going on, YouTube? So today I'm coming to you guys with a video. I'm going to be cleaning some of my makeup brushes. I already needed to do it so that I can film some looks later on this week for you guys. I also wanted to just kind of talk to you guys and vent about something that's been weighing on me. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. So the way I clean my makeup brushes, I have like a bowl full of like warm water and shampoo. I use shampoo, and then clean bowl of water, and then I also got this. That's what it looks like. Yes, I just put like some shampoo and water on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clean off my main makeup brushes. So sorry guys, I'm not gonna be looking up as much, but just hear me out on this one. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was something that I've been struggling with, and I know that there may be other people struggling with it right now, especially because we've been in the house and we've been quarantined. I just wanted to talk about dealing with like depression and anxiety, especially like during this quarantine time, because I realized that people who suffer from depression and anxiety, this is like probably a terrible time, because this is a terrible time for me. So I've been suffering from like an anxiety disorder since I was a child, and I didn't really know like what anxiety was. I didn't know that I had this until I went and got diagnosed for it when I was an adult. Basically, like just ever since I was a kid, I felt very anxious to do certain things. I would get very scared and nervous, and it was more than just like the regular, oh, I'm scared to do this or I'm scared to do that. It was like terror, like I want to throw up a little bit, like I feel like I'm about to die, pass out, hyperventilate. And I just never felt like that was normal. And it kind of carried on into my like adult life. And then I realized as an adult that I should probably seek some help. So as I became older, I don't know, like the way it hits me is different. The fear is different. I've been seeing a therapist since I was in middle school. And I still see a therapist now. And I think around maybe high school, when I was in therapy, I realized that my anxiety comes from a fear of dying. So anything I feel may cause me to die, I'm going to be extremely fearful of. And it's going to, if I'm put in situations where I feel like that's going to happen, I get really, really anxious. There are just things that I feel like I don't do or just haven't done due to my anxiety. I would say I was usually able to like handle it pretty well when I was younger. More recently, I'd say this year, probably around February, I had like my first real panic attack, like the one that sent me to the ER. That's how bad it got. I started having like heart palpitations, which is like when you can feel your heart like you can feel a flutter, like it skips a beat. And that feeling, when you have it, sometimes it does this thing to your body where it feels like it takes your breath away a little bit. It scares you. It sends your body into like a little fright. So my hands started getting sweaty. And that's not the first time I had one, but I started having more of them. I've never had more than one at a time. And they started coming back to back. And each time I could feel like my heart flutter, and it felt like it was about to stop. But pretty much I had a full-blown panic attack in the car after that. My heart started racing like crazy. I started hyperventilating, feeling like I was gonna pass out. I didn't have any control over my breathing, which if anybody has anxiety, they know like that's something that's like one of the main things you need to do, but one of the hardest things to do when you're having a panic attack is try to gain control of your breathing. And I lost it. So I ended up going to the ER and I almost passed out. Like my heart rate was like in the 200s. My blood pressure was like through the roof. I had really like scared myself to death. They ended up giving me anxiety medicine while I was there to calm me. It worked a little bit. It more so just made me sleepy, but the fear and the panic, it really never went away. And for the next few days, it kind of just stayed with me. Me and Austin had ended up going to Napa that weekend because it was Valentine's Day weekend. And me and Austin go to Napa a lot. I don't know if like you and your partner have like a place that's like y'all place that y'all go to. For me and Austin, it's Napa. Whenever things are just too stressful or we may feel a little overwhelmed, that's like our getaway place, like our little place. So we've been doing that kind of since we first got together. So we go to Napa often. And so the second day we were in Napa, I couldn't do it. I was having heart palpitations. I was freaking out. I tried, and I felt so bad because it was Valentine's Day weekend, but he was very understanding. So we just stayed in the room and just ordered food and kind of just hung out. But I felt bad because I had never experienced anxiety that bad. And when I got home, I noticed I was still having like heart palpitations and I was still freaking out. And I'm like, this is so weird. So it went on for about a couple of days, and then it slowly but surely went away. Probably about a month ago, I started having panic attacks, y'all. Like, I would say probably 2 weeks into when we all got quarantined, I started having panic attacks, y'all. And I had panic attacks every day, several times a day. Like, it was every single day I was having them, and I would have about three to five real full-blown panic attacks. For me to like describe to you what it feels like, each panic attack I have, it feels different. So some of them feel like my heart is just racing uncontrollably. It's like an out-of-body experience. You feel like you're there, but you're not there. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You would have to have like anxiety and panic attacks in order to know what I'm talking about when I say that. But like, it feel like you're just not even in your body. Like, you're not even there in that moment. Everything around you it isn't even there. It doesn't even feel real. And then some of the worst ones I would get, they get really, really bad at night for me when I'm trying to sleep. The ones I would get at night, it would feel like I was being smothered. I don't know how to describe it. Like the air was leaving the room. I would try to breathe, and when I would inhale, I would go up for air, and the air wasn't there for me. And that's one of like the scariest feelings ever, like ever. It lasted for over a month. Over a month. And it was the worst experience I've ever had in my life, because I stayed in the house the whole time. I would not go outside. I wouldn't go drop my baby off and pick him up. I had Austin do that. I wouldn't go to the mailbox. I had Austin do that. I wouldn't go to the grocery store. I stayed in the house. Never left. Never even went outside to go get some fresh air, because I was so afraid that I would have a panic attack outside. I guess I felt safer inside. It's weird, but that's what happened. They did give me anxiety medicine. They gave me 2 different types of anxiety medicines to take. I'm not like a pill taker. Taking pills give me anxiety on its own just because I'd be afraid of side effects of pills, but my anxiety had got so bad to the point where I was like, I'm about to start taking my anxiety medicine. Like, maybe that's gonna be the cure. Maybe that's what I'm missing. Honestly, some days it helped in a way of making me so sleepy and putting me to sleep to the point where I just slept, so there was no panic attack anymore. But some days I would take my pills and I would still be having bad panic attacks. So it was just like a hit or miss with that. Sometimes I would take the pills, they would help. Sometimes I would take the pills and it would make it worse. Like, I would really start feeling like I was about to die and pass out and faint. And so I didn't know what to do. I started I would talk to my therapist about it. She was giving me exercises and and I felt bad for my husband because he's known I've had anxiety, but he's never really seen me have anxiety that bad. But I've also never seen myself have anxiety that bad. So I think we were both actually really scared, because it was something we were going through together that we had never went through before. So I think seeing me like that scared him. It scared me too, though. I tried everything but going outside. I would say that. I would do meditation, because I am a person I do practice meditation. So I had tried to pick back up on that. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it wouldn't. A lot of times I would do the guided meditation, which is on YouTube. They have the videos and the people are talking to you and they're like, breathe in, breathe out, you're okay. They'd be like, this is a safe place, and imagine you're at a beach, and all that type of stuff. And I did that, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, some of those videos on YouTube, they are actually like hypnosis type meditation videos, to the point where they give you a little disclaimer at the beginning and let you know if you're driving to not listen to those videos, because it has been known to send people into a deep hypnosis. Some of those videos really did work for me, y'all. They relaxed me so much that I went to sleep. And like I said, sometimes that stuff would work that I would do, and other times nothing worked, and I just had to kind of just live within that fear. And my panic attacks would last for hours, y'all. Hours upon hours of just heart racing, heart rate 120, 130, blood pressure high, freaking out. So while I was going through all this in April, I hadn't had a drink since February, and I had stopped smoking weed back in I want to say back in January was the last time I had smoked any weed. So my system was clean. I started eating differently. This is when I really started my weight loss journey, because I felt like maybe it was my eating. Some people say heart palpitations can come from your diet, being dehydrated, eating chocolate, drinking coffee. So I was off the caffeine, definitely off the caffeine. I wasn't eating bad. I was drinking water. Some people say go start exercising. I had joined the gym. I was doing everything I could in order to stop my anxiety and my heart palpitations and my panic attacks, and literally nothing was helping. It started getting really, really bad. I went and got my heart checked. I had to wear a heart monitor for about a week because I'm like, maybe I'm having heart palpitations because it's heart related. All my tests came back normal for any heart problems. I had a heart ultrasound. My heart ultrasound came back normal. I got some blood work done to see if it was like a thyroid problem. That came back normal. So I was like, what's wrong? Because there'll be days where I'll just wake up and my heart was racing out of my sleep. Like, it will wake me up out of my sleep because that's how fast my heart was beating. And it wasn't a bad dream or anything like that. It was literally like my heart was just racing for no reason. And that was the scary part, when you want a diagnosis, when you want someone to be able to tell you like, okay, this is your problem, this is how we fix it. But me going to the doctor and having all those tests ran and stuff like that, and realizing like everybody telling me all my tests was coming back normal, it was disheartening, because it's like, it's one of those things like, you don't want nothing seriously to be wrong, but if this one thing is what's causing you to have this much anxiety and heart palpitations and panic attacks, it's like you kind of want to know what's wrong so you can know how to fix it so that it can just stop. But they were all telling me I was okay, and I was getting so frustrated because it's like, you know your body, and all I kept thinking is, I'm not though. Like, I'm not okay. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. It was just a real test of faith for me, because I really had to call on God and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, but the medicine isn't working. The doctors are saying there's nothing wrong, so I need to get like knee deep in prayer about this and ask God to lift the anxiety off me. And so I started watching a bunch of sermons on anxiety. He was just basically saying, when you ask God for things or favors, whether it be in a time of need or, you know, when you're just stressed out about things, you can't ask God for stuff and then still have that same worry on you about it. Like when people have that saying, like, give it to God and let go and let God. Like, that's literally what that is. The thing of, you can't sit here and say, God, take this anxiety off of me, and then be walking around feeling like, oh my God, am I gonna have a panic attack today? Like, I'm gonna freak out today. Do I got my medicine on me? Am I gonna be all right? Am I gonna be all right? You have to trust in God. You can't give him your problems and then still be watching to see if he's gonna take care of it, or watching to see how he's gonna take care of it. You need to have trust. If you don't trust in nobody else, you should trust in God. And it's like, of course, every single time I had a panic attack, y'all, I was on my knees crying, like, God, please remove this off me, lift this anxiety off me, take this off me. Like, I was praying, but I was still worried. And I feel like that's where a lot of my problems came from. That I would sit there and I'd be crying and on my knees and begging and pleading, but I would still not trust him enough to do it. And I feel like once I started really praying and then waking up and being like, you know what, I'm gonna have a good day today, period. Like, that's just what it is. I'm gonna walk out this door, I'm gonna go to the grocery store with my husband, I'm gonna just step outside today, baby steps. I'm gonna step outside today. Or my son's daycare is like literally a 3-minute drive. I'm gonna let my husband sleep in this morning. I'm gonna take my son to daycare today. Stuff like that. It started helping because I feel like I had finally started giving God a chance to work for me. I wasn't giving him a chance before when I was saying, God, take this anxiety off of me, and then waking up being like, I'm still not gonna go outside just in case. That's like, it's like, well, God is sitting here like, well, what you calling on me for? If you still gonna sit in here scared and let this hinder you and stop you from living your life. Sometimes we ask God for things and then we still think we can do it all. And that's where that lesson of humbling yourself comes in. We can sit up here and ask God to do stuff for us, but if we still moving without him and trying to act without him, he's not gonna do it. It's kind of a thing like, well, what did you call on me for? And that's where that humbling yourself comes in. I don't think I had that problem because, boy, like, I knew I couldn't do it on my own, but I had to start saying it in my prayers. You know, like, God, I cannot. This is not possible without you. Just having the anxiety turned into depression for me. And the depression came from not being myself no more. Not being a mom to my son in a way of like taking those anxiety pills and it making me sleepy to the point where I was a zombie. And I'm like, man, I'm not interacting with my son. I'm not giving my husband no attention. For those of y'all who know me, like, personality wise, you know I have a big bubbly personality. So for me to sit there and not be me, I started getting depressed. The devil had definitely got in my mind. I started having some god awful thoughts, and it was just a really, really dark time for me. And all this happened only like a couple weeks ago, months ago. So I'm still like recovering from all that, but just dealing with the anxiety that then turned into depression had really just made me value a lot more things. Value not having it, of course, being able to wake up every morning and thank God, and just being able to go outside and be okay and feel okay, things like that. Just to be more appreciative and more grateful, because those panic attacks that I was having they were killing me. Like, they were killing who I was as a person, because they would happen and I would be so afraid for them to happen again that I would just shut down completely, because I just felt like, why keep going? Why do anything when I'm just gonna have a panic attack and ruin my own day, ruin my husband's day, ruin my son's day? It's like, it's really sad, but that's really what happened to me. And I just feel like once I started, like I said, praying but also taking steps, you know, not being so sheltered, pushing myself to go outside, I feel like that's when things got a little bit better. So if there's anybody else out there who is suffering from anxiety during this time or depression during this time, you are definitely not alone. It's a real thing. It's very real and it's very scary, and you can feel very, very alone. Like, I had my husband, poor Austin, he would stay up all night with me. I know he would be so tired, but he did that. And just when I was having my panic attacks, doing my breathing exercises with me, sometimes it did help, and like I said, sometimes it didn't. It's just everything, every day was different with it. It's like, even with him doing all that, being there for me and helping me, there were times I still felt very alone, because I felt like this is so unfair to my husband. This is so unfair to my son. But I am very grateful that I have an excellent support system. But even sometimes having that, it still doesn't take the anxiety away. You know, it still doesn't take those feelings of fear away. And then my sister who passed away, I would talk to her a lot, and I would just ask her to give me strength, I guess I would say, because my sister, she was very strong, and I felt like I needed that. I felt like I needed some of that. I feel like I needed some of her strength. The same way, if you have a sister and she's still here and you can call and, you know, or just be with that sister and pray with that sister. I needed that from her, so I would call on her a lot. And I know she was with me, but I needed her too. Woo, sorry y'all, I do not talk about my sister, and there's a reason why. But that was just a really, really tough time. So, and it's just a very real thing. So like right now where I'm at in my life, I don't have panic attacks every single day, but I do still have them. I had one 2 nights ago, literally 2 nights ago. So it's still not over for me. I'm still having anxiety attacks. I'm still having a hard time going outside. Yesterday was 101 degrees in Sacramento, and today is 102 degrees in Sacramento. I was asking myself today, like, if we wasn't quarantined right now, would you go outside? My answer was no. My anxiety has been bad for the past 3 or 4 days. I guess I just have a fear of it coming back the way it did, how strong it came back that last time and how long it lasted that last time. I'm nervous about it. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna pray that it doesn't come back, and I'm gonna keep trying to make small steps. I definitely need to go ahead and step outside on that patio, which I did today. Austin was outside on the patio, and I joined him for like 2 seconds, and then I came back in the house. But he think I was going outside just to mess with him. He don't even know I was in the middle of having a little bit of a panic. The thing about anxiety is when you have a partner and you have anxiety, you don't want to feel like you're burdening them with it. So I'm starting to try to self-help before I call on him. And even though he never says anything, he never complains. It's just like a thing for me. I don't like feeling like I'm burdening him with that. God forbid, but you know, if I do have panic attacks, I want to be able to talk myself down. It's something that I need to learn how to do anyway. So that was it, y'all. I've got a lot more brushes to wash. That's just been weighing on me because I just know that we're in a weird time right now of being stuck inside, and if I'm feeling anxious like this and going through my little anxiety and depression and stuff like that, I know it's a lot of people out there. And even if they don't have anxiety as bad as I do, some people have anxiety, but it's like a mild case. Like you only feel anxious, you know, at certain times, or like how we're going through this right now. You probably feel like you're anxious because you're in a house and you can't move and you've been looking at the same 4 walls, and it's just like, even that's like a form of like mild anxiety too. So it's like, even if it's not as bad as mine is with the panic attacks, you're not alone. My advice is, if you believe in a God, call on that God. If you spiritual person, you know, do your meditation, you know, call on your ancestors, ask the universe to help you out, whoever, whatever. But when you ask for that help, believe in it though. Don't ask for help and still worry. That's something that I did, and I feel like that's what hinders me. And I find myself, like I just told y'all, I said today I wouldn't go outside. That's what be keeping me in the same place. I shouldn't think like that. I should have more confidence that God is gonna make sure that when I do step outside, I'm gonna be okay. That's it, guys. But thank y'all for listening to my rant. If y'all wanna hear me talk about more like serious topics and stuff like this, I definitely will. Thank you so much for tuning in.